Hi beautiful people, welcome to Kate's Space, welcome to my channel. I'm Kate from Pixie Designs, and this is where I do all my creating and making and hanging out and crafting with you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. So today is my turn to do my sample designs project, and every Thursday one of the design team creates something with her digitals from her shop. I will link all the other artists in the design team below, and I will link all of Sam's details and also the digital kits that I have used. Now I am planning next year, early next year, to start on a sewing themed haberdashery journal, and I thought a good way for me to sort of get in the mindset and have a little practice is by making something that maybe could go along with the journal, or I could use to give me ideas or put ephemera in or something. Anyway, so that's what I've done. I have used the Noir kit, the French Haberdashery and the Haberdashery Shop, and I'll link those kits below. So that's the ones I've primarily used. I don't even think I've used anything else, but that's what I've mainly used. And I've made this little trifold type folder booklet thing, and the base of it is an old brown folder. I've made these trifolds before. I've got some videos which I'll link, and the idea originally came from Heather at Ruby and Pearl, but I know the trifold idea has been around for a while. There's lots of variations, and if you have a look, you'll be able to see lots of different takes on it. So this is a lovely image I've got on the front, this lady, and that basically is one piece of the digital that wraps around. And when you open it up, there's a pocket right along the bottom here, and I've hand stitched around. And I've used these lovely little sort of sample cards that are in the kit. I think this one is in the French Haberdashery. And I've just used a rusty staple and stapled on some vintage trims. And again with this one, some vintage lace, and just stapled it on, and they pop in this little pocket here. Love how that looks. I've really enjoyed making this, and yeah, I think I'll make some more. I remember loving making the other ones too. So mine just has one pocket along, and I put a little notebook in there to write or decorate. So that's why you can't put as much stuff in because it gets too bulky. So then I made this card. Now this is one of the button cards, also from French Haberdashery. And I've just backed it onto some vintage, very old faded blue. Oh, actually no, this is some scrapbooking cardstock that I had that had faded around the edges, which if you were scrapbooking you would be horrified by, but for junk journaling it's perfect with all that aging. I didn't put any buttons. This is just really for writing on, or someone can put buttons in it. But that just shows you how old some of my scrapbooking products are. And I made this like a cabinet card from this photo that was in the kit, and I've glued it onto some sort of heavy board, and then put some very old book page on the back, and I absolutely love how that turned out. I feel that that looks quite realistic. Like even in real life, on video maybe it does, but even in real life it looks really cool. I'm so happy with how that turned out. So I've got a little old kind of rusted bulldog clip at the top, just holding this closed so it doesn't flap about. And I've made this little booklet out of mostly vintage papers. Yeah, I don't think there's any digitals in the book. So this is an 1800s birthday book that I acquired at my secondhand bookshop I go to. It was falling to bits, so she gave it to me, and I was like, oh yes please. And I've just used one of the little sort of titles and cut it out and put that there. Some old, very old and aged music score cover, and there's a little pocket here, little tuck spot. I left the original tape that held it together because I liked that look. This is some old manuscript, and when you run your hand over it you can actually feel the lines, the indents of the lines printed on there. And I put a little flip out here with some sort of handmade sort of watercolor paper with the Tim Holtz embossing folder of the rose. I think you can see that. Again, the wrong era, but it's one of the, it's an old envelope that used to hold a sewing pattern, some sort of just sketch paper, a book page from a very old French book, which I've glued this lady onto, who I fussy cut, and that there could be a tuck spot. A page out of my girl's own paper from the 1800s, which I've just left. A page out of a very old German book that I acquired or got at a second-hand shop when I went op shopping with Barb one time. I had a play printing onto some fabric, and I've used this piece. I've hand sewed this piece on. It's on a really old piece of linen, which is really quite friable, but I love the hole and how tatty that looks, so I've left it like that. This is like a little receipt from one of the kits, and I've just used a rusty long pin to stitch, just to hold this piece of vintage fabric on there, and I've printed on the back some more blank music manuscript, though this is not as old. I've tea-dyed that one. An original French document, which I've popped in here, and I've put a little tag, tiny tag in the middle with a date on there. And yeah, so this is from 1892, and then we are on the other side. So another one of these little fabric lace sample cards with some old, really pretty lace, embroidered sort of lace on there. I don't know if you'd call that lace, embroidered something. That's held with some a rusty safety pin, and that's a rusty paper clip, sorry guys, and a staple there. The other half of the girl's own paper, the French book, and yeah, so all the other halves of all those pages. That one flips out. Another little tuck spot here, and I fussy cut the ladies there and stuck them on, and I stamped my rose stamp and cut that out and put it there. So in this back pocket is another one of the cards. This might be from the Haberdashery Shop or Noir. Anyway, I love that image on there. And on here I've put several fabrics that I've stapled on with a rusty staple. So this is from these are scratched from my wedding dress, so they're vintage. And some vintage lace on top, so I thought, oh, that kind of suited the look of this dress maybe. So that's the little booklet. On the very back is another tuck spot. I love this image here, it's so pretty. And I just printed these little cards out, and I have done nothing on the back. I've just printed a creamy blank page on the back, because it was starting to get a bit bulky, but on this one I have printed it out, and I've printed sort of this creamy colour on the back, and I've made this button card. Well, it was a button card, so I've punched all the holes with a rusty pin, and I've sewn on the buttons. I've wrapped some silk mending thread around here, and I've put in a little rusty safety pin and 2 long pins. Love how that turned out. So that is the middle, the centre part, the inside. On the back, on the outside, I put this belly band because I needed somewhere for these things to go. I printed out one of these beautiful file folders, and I love this. It's this beautiful soft sort of greeny colour. I love the image on there, and I printed something on the inside as well. And then I've just pinned this lovely piece of vintage, is it eyelet or whatever, I don't know, whatever it's called. And then just a rusty safety pin here. And I made this tag, which I love, using one of the images. And it's got another one of the images folded over at the top, and some embossed paper. This pair of lovely sort of old scissors. They've twisted around the wrong way, but just a scissor charm, they're not old. And on the back is some old genuine wallpaper. this is very, very delicate and has to be stuck down to something to make it last, but I just thought I'd introduce a little bit of colour. Why not? Yeah, so that is my project this time round for sample. I hope you like that and have enjoyed that flip through, and I hope you are very happy and well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching today, and I will see you again soon in the next video. Bye.